Hey guys, tonight we find ourselves gently drifting on a bed of reeds, softly rocked by ripples beneath a vast, serene sky. Dawn emerges slowly, casting pale hues of lavender and rose across the horizon, colors softly mirrored in the calm waters that surround you. You blink your eyes open, feeling the gentle sway beneath your body, a subtle, comforting movement unlike any you've felt before. As you sit up, you realize you've awakened upon a chinampa, a floating garden in ancient Tenochtitlan. Around you, long, narrow islands stretch gracefully through a network of tranquil canals, their lush vegetation glowing softly in the misty dawn. The cool air is filled with the sweet scent of blooming marigolds, mingling gently with the earthy fragrance of fertile mud and water lilies. Birds begin their soft, morning chorus, welcoming you warmly into this peaceful Aztec morning. You stretch your arms out, feeling the pleasant ache of muscles you didn't know existed, muscles evidently unprepared for ancient agriculture. Just try not to invent electricity by accident. You smile softly at your own gentle confusion, breathing deeply and savoring the fresh, humid air. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And please, share your location and the local time in the comments. I always love knowing from where in time and space you're listening. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. A distant splash pulls your attention toward the canal. Peering through the pale morning haze, you spot a figure slowly paddling toward your chinampa. A wooden canoe sliding silently through the water. As the figure draws closer, you see it's an elderly woman, her silver-streaked hair neatly braided, adorned simply with small turquoise beads. Her embroidered cotton huipil gently flutters in the dawn breeze as she raises her hand, greeting you with a serene smile. "Awake already?" she asks, amusement twinkling softly in her eyes. "Good. We have much to do before midday." You nod, feeling warmly welcomed despite your lingering bewilderment. She introduces herself simply as Xochitl, which means flower, and gestures for you to follow her onto the narrow pathway of packed earth that runs along the chinampa's edge. Your feet sink slightly into the damp, rich soil, connecting you to the land with every step. "Come," she says gently, leading you to a small woven basket lying near rows of lush greenery. She hands it to you, her touch reassuring and calm. "Today, we'll harvest the herbs needed by the healers. It's patient work, but the plants reward careful hands." She kneels down beside a row of vibrant green leaves speckled with tiny yellow blossoms. "This is Xochitl, sacred marigold," she explains softly. "It heals the body and soothes the soul. You must pinch gently, never tearing." She demonstrates with practiced ease, her fingers moving rhythmically, gently severing stems with respect and care. You imitate her movements, feeling awkward but determined, gently laughing at your own initial clumsiness. The scent of the Xochitl rises sharply as you gather more herbs, their fragrance both invigorating and calming at once. You'll soon find your rhythm. Xochitl reassures you warmly. The herbs recognize a gentle heart. Nearby, a hummingbird hovers delicately, its iridescent feathers glittering faintly in the growing daylight. You pause, enchanted by the tiny creature's seemingly impossible grace. Even they know the value of patience. Xochitl whispers gently, eyes crinkling with quiet laughter. As the morning unfolds, you lose track of time, your movements becoming steadily more confident, your basket growing heavier with fragrant offerings. Other gardeners quietly tend their own chinampas nearby, each softly humming or whispering gentle encouragement to their plants. It occurs to you, amid this tender silence, that a society's strength lies not only in monuments or warriors, but in quiet, patient routines, daily acts that bind a community through simplicity and care. A sudden rustle catches your ear, and you turn, startled. Xochitl chuckles softly beside you, nodding knowingly. Only the axolotl. They're curious creatures, but harmless. As long as you don't discuss philosophy, they're terrible conversationalists. You laugh softly, easing once again into the garden's rhythmic calm, your fingers becoming gently stained by crushed greenery. Looking at your fingertips, you wonder briefly what the people here would make of your modern world so busy, so rushed. Always striving, yet rarely arriving. Here, time flows like water in the canals, steady, soothing, purposeful. You see, Xochitl continues gently, seeming to sense your thoughts. Our lives move with the seasons, the plants, the water. We listen to the earth. Perhaps your world listens less, rushing forward without knowing the direction. You smile, feeling seen, understood, in ways you hadn't anticipated. Perhaps this timeless wisdom could travel forward with you, a gentle reminder hidden deep within your memories. The sun now rises higher, warming your shoulders through your woven tunic, reminding you gently of the days passing. Your basket filled, you rise slowly, feeling a pleasant ache in your knees, a gentle protest against a morning's labor. Xochitl nods approvingly. You've done well. Soon enough, you'll forget you ever belonged anywhere else. You chuckle quietly, unsure whether the thought comforts or gently alarms you, but perhaps forgetting, just for now, is exactly what you need. Together, you step carefully back onto the canoe. As you settle down onto the smooth wooden seat, the chinampa fades slowly behind you, enveloped again by the soft haze of midday. Ahead, the canal winds lazily through clusters of vibrant green islands, each lush and inviting, each quietly whispering ancient stories. And for this moment, drifting gently along ancient waterways beneath endless skies, you feel utterly, warmly at home. As the canoe glides gently along the winding canal, you savor the soothing rhythm of Xochitl's paddle dipping softly into the water. The midday sun sparkles delicately across the ripples, throwing playful reflections onto the dense, leafy branches that lean over the banks. You trail your fingers through the cool water, watching the subtle wake your touch creates, each droplet a tiny, glistening gem suspended briefly in time. Soon, the waterway broadens into a tranquil lagoon fringed by vibrant clusters of willow and cypress trees. Among them, chinampas drift quietly, tethered in place yet softly, moving in harmony with the gentle current. Birds flit lazily overhead, their calls a serene backdrop to your journey. Xochitl smiles gently at your quiet curiosity. Our gardens feed the city, she says, her voice warm with quiet pride, but they also heal it. Every plant holds a lesson, every leaf carries wisdom. You nod thoughtfully, recalling the fragrant Xochitl leaves in your basket. You find yourself wondering what quiet knowledge hides in each herb and blossom you have yet to discover. At last, the canoe nudges gently against the shore, resting beside a small dock crafted simply from bundled reeds. Xochitl steps easily onto the platform, holding out a steady hand to help you up. You smile sheepishly as you wobble slightly onto solid ground, laughing softly at the realization your legs had already become accustomed to the subtle motion of water beneath them. Don't worry. Xochitl chuckles kindly. Soon you'll walk on water as naturally as you breathe. Together, you walk slowly down a shady pathway, lined with flowering shrubs and tall grasses rustling softly in the breeze. The gentle murmur of voices draws you toward a low, thatched building shaded by broad-leafed palms. Its walls are painted softly with earth-toned symbols, spirals, and patterns depicting plants, water, and healing hands. The images speak quietly of the interconnectedness you've already begun to sense here. Entering the shaded interior, your eyes take a moment to adjust. Rows of neatly arranged pottery jars, baskets filled with dried herbs, and woven mats holding freshly picked blossoms fill the cool, earthen room. A faint, sweet aroma of dried flowers mingles with earth and clay. At the center, several women sit cross-legged, gently sorting and bundling herbs. Xochitl introduces you warmly. This is our newest apprentice, she says, eyes twinkling softly as the women greet you with welcoming smiles. They nod gently, their hands never pausing in their careful work. You feel a comforting sense of belonging already settling into your chest, pleasantly surprising you. Xochitl selects a soft woven mat and settles beside you, demonstrating how to sort and tie the herbs you've collected. Her fingers move with practiced ease, gracefully weaving grasses into bundles of Xochitl and cempasúchil blossoms. You mimic her gentle motions, enjoying the rhythm and calm of the repetitive task. After a comfortable silence, Xochitl begins to softly speak again, her voice lilting warmly as she explains the deeper uses of each plant. Xochitl calms the heart and eases fears. She says quietly, "It is offered to Tlaloc, god of rains, to ensure abundant harvests. Cempasúchil marigolds invite the spirits of ancestors back during the festivals." You pause thoughtfully, holding a small bundle of golden marigolds, their vibrant petals delicate yet resilient. It strikes you as gently poetic, the idea of flowers guiding loved ones home. You wonder briefly if your own ancestors might recognize your presence here, finding comfort in the simple yet profound rituals you now share. Xochitl gestures toward another jar filled with tiny dried petals of a deep purple hue. "This is Xochitl vanilla," she explains softly. "It sweetens food and drink, but it also comforts and calms. The traders bring it from far away, across the forests near Tenochtitlan, rare and precious." You inhale the faint, familiar fragrance, noting quietly how different the meaning of familiar scents can become. You chuckle softly, wondering what your own people would think if they knew how hard it was to grow vanilla. Perhaps they'd savor it more slowly, with deeper gratitude. As you continue bundling herbs, conversation softly drifts toward the people who will soon benefit from your work. Xochitl gently lists the common ailments they heal: headaches, sleeplessness, melancholy, and each herb's purpose in helping people recover their balance. It occurs to you, quietly, how universal these troubles are, how timeless the gentle solutions, patiently crafted by caring hands. You glance up from your bundles, noticing a faintly mischievous gleam in Xochitl's eyes as she whispers conspiratorially, "Of course, some come not for remedies, but simply for sympathy." It's astonishing how healing a little conversation can be. You laugh gently, nodding your agreement, sensing deeply how often human needs remain unchanged, even across time and culture. Soon, the bundles are neatly arranged, ready for delivery to healers across the city. Outside, the late afternoon sun dips lower, casting golden patterns onto the earthen floor through woven reed walls. You stretch your fingers gently, feeling satisfaction mingling softly with the mild ache of honest work.
"Tomorrow, we'll journey to the market," Xochitl says, rising slowly to her feet. "But tonight, we eat and rest. Come."
You follow her back outside, breathing deeply the fresh evening air, tinged now with faint wood smoke from cooking fires. As you walk toward a communal area where food is being gently prepared, you glance upward, marveling at the soft violet hues spreading slowly across the sky. You find yourself briefly musing how connected life here feels, each task small yet meaningful, gently woven into a greater whole. You smile softly, realizing how much this ancient place has already begun to teach you quiet lessons in patience, community, and care.
At the edge of your vision, you notice the axolotl again, poking curiously from the water, as if ensuring you'd grasped Xochitl's lessons properly. You raise an eyebrow at it, whispering playfully, "Still no philosophy."
Its blank stare answers perfectly, and you chuckle warmly, understanding fully now that some truths, like the rhythm of the gardens, are best felt rather than discussed. The evening sunlight begins to fade, casting a soft amber glow across the lush chinampas, each small island seeming to shimmer gently in the twilight. You find yourself back beside the water, carrying your neatly bundled herbs toward a communal gathering space near the edge of the gardens. Around you, gardeners and their families quietly congregate, voices murmuring softly as they prepare to share their evening meal. Xochitl guides you toward a circle of low, wooden benches arranged around a warm, gently flickering fire. Clay pots bubble quietly, releasing inviting aromas of maize, roasted peppers, and spices that fill the cool evening air with warmth. You notice a familiar, comforting scent, corn dough wrapped carefully in fragrant maize leaves. Tamales. You realize with a soft, grateful smile.
Ah, hungry eyes. Xochitl gently teases, catching your eager expression. It's true, garden work always sharpens the appetite. Sit. You've earned your rest. As you settle onto the wooden bench, you take a moment to observe the gathered faces in the gentle firelight. Elderly gardeners speak quietly, their expressions patient and serene, while younger family members laugh softly, exchanging stories of the day's small adventures. Children giggle quietly nearby, weaving marigolds into bracelets and necklaces, their small fingers working clumsily but with deep concentration.
A plate of warm tamales is placed gently into your hands by a smiling woman whose long, dark braid hangs gracefully over one shoulder. "Welcome," she whispers softly, her voice filled with quiet hospitality. You thank her quietly, feeling immediately at ease among this close-knit community. As you unwrap your first tamale, you pause to savor its scent. The maize dough is tender and steaming gently, the filling a delicate mixture of chilies, beans, and herbs freshly harvested from the very gardens you tended today. Each bite is rich with flavor, yet comforting in its simplicity. You wonder softly to yourself how such humble ingredients can create such profound warmth. Perhaps nourishment here means more than mere sustenance. Beside you, Xochitl quietly eats her meal, nodding approvingly as you savor yours. Her eyes sparkle gently in the firelight. "You'll find our food is humble, yet honest," she murmurs, voice low and gentle. "The land teaches us to appreciate simplicity. Complexity often disguises emptiness." You smile softly, musing briefly on how your own modern world often equates complexity with value, forgetting the quiet strength in simplicity. Here, each flavor, each gesture holds genuine meaning, no matter how small. Across from you, an older gardener begins to speak, his voice softly rhythmic as he shares gentle tales of seasons past. He recounts the quiet triumphs and humorous setbacks experienced in tending Chinampa's plants watered too generously, herbs confused with weeds, and friendly rivalries between gardeners who claimed secret techniques for growing the sweetest maize. You chuckle softly at his stories, warmed by the easy camaraderie evident among these people. Life here is neither hurried nor competitive. Rather, it gently flows, each day unfolding with its own rhythm and purpose. You wonder quietly if perhaps humanity, over the centuries, has forgotten how nourishing it can be to simply exist in harmony with the earth. As the evening deepens, conversation drifts gently toward preparations for the upcoming festival. You overhear snippets about gathering flowers and herbs, organizing dances, and rehearsing quiet prayers offered to the gods for continued abundance. Xochitl leans toward you, whispering softly, "Tomorrow we prepare for the market, but soon we'll harvest for celebration. Even gardens must pause to rejoice." You nod quietly, intrigued by the subtle yet profound way this culture balances daily labor with joyful celebration. Perhaps life becomes richer. You muse gently, when work and rest find equal importance in the rhythms of the heart. A young child, cheeks flushed and eyes bright with excitement, suddenly tugs gently at your sleeve. "Will you help us gather flowers?" she asks shyly, her voice hopeful. You smile warmly, promising to join her when the time comes. The child beams, bounding away to share the news. Xochitl chuckles softly beside you. "You've quickly become popular," she says dryly. "Be careful, or you'll end up leading the dances." You laugh gently, shaking your head at the humorous notion of yourself stumbling through ancient choreography. But secretly, you find the idea comforting after all. Community here means acceptance, no matter how clumsy your steps might be. Slowly, the meal comes to an end, plates emptied, laughter softening to comfortable silence. One by one, people begin drifting toward their chinampas or small reed homes along the canals, bidding quiet good nights. Xochitl rises slowly, stretching with the gentle satisfaction of a day well spent. "Come, let's rest. Tomorrow comes swiftly." You follow her down a narrow, softly lit path, lined on either side by fragrant night-blooming flowers. The sky above has darkened into deep indigo, scattered softly with stars, their gentle glow reflected dimly in the canal waters. Arriving at your chinampa, you find a small reed shelter, simple yet inviting, a woven mat ready for your tired body. Xochitl pats your shoulder gently, her voice warm and reassuring. "Sleep well, apprentice. You've made a fine beginning." You thank her quietly, feeling profoundly grateful for her gentle guidance. As she walks slowly away, you ease yourself onto the soft mat, feeling each muscle quietly relax into the warmth of the earth beneath you. Lying quietly beneath your reed roof, you gaze upward, observing stars framed by the swaying silhouette of branches. Their gentle twinkle seems timeless, ancient, yet familiar. You briefly wonder how many generations have watched these same stars, comforted by their gentle constancy. Closing your eyes, you listen softly to the sounds of the chinampas at night, distant calls of nightbirds, gentle splashes of water creatures, whispers of the breeze through leafy branches. It feels as though the gardens themselves are breathing gently around you, softly urging you toward rest. Sleep drifts closer, wrapped gently in scents of herbs and blossoms. You feel safe, peaceful, connected in ways you've rarely experienced before. This chinampa garden, quiet and ancient, feels not just welcoming, but somehow familiar, like a place you knew long ago, remembered now only in dreams. Just before sleep claims you fully, you hear a faint splash nearby. Smiling softly, you murmur to yourself, "Good night, Axolotl. Perhaps tomorrow we'll discuss the meaning of life." Its gentle silence feels like agreement, and with a warm chuckle you drift quietly into restful sleep. Morning comes gently, filtering through gaps in the woven reed walls, casting delicate patterns of pale gold across your sleeping form. You awaken gradually, consciousness seeping softly back into your mind with the gentle murmuring of birds and the distant splash of an early canoe gliding through the canals. For a moment, your eyes remain closed, savoring the quiet comfort of the reed mat beneath you, woven so carefully that it supports your body with a tender, almost parental embrace.
Eventually, you sit up, stretching your limbs slowly, aware of pleasant aches in muscles you'd nearly forgotten. Funny how tending gardens could teach muscles their purpose, you muse gently. Perhaps gardening, after all, is nature's quiet method of reintroducing humanity to itself.
Stepping outside your humble shelter, you're met with the brightening vista of the floating gardens, bathed in the serene glow of early daylight. The air is crisp and cool, scented faintly with dew-dampened leaves and fresh flowers opening to greet the sun. You breathe deeply, tasting clean air, free of anything but Earth's quiet perfume. Xochitl appears quietly at your side, holding 2 woven baskets. She hands one to you, eyes sparkling softly. "Today, we journey to Tlatelolco, the great market," she announces gently. "Your herbs will find new homes, and perhaps you'll find something yourself." You chuckle softly, intrigued by the promise of adventure, even a peaceful adventure such as bartering herbs at an ancient market. Following Xochitl to the dock, you step carefully into the waiting canoe, now more confident, your balance improved by yesterday's gentle teachings. As the canoe glides along the canals, you find yourself enchanted by the city's quiet morning rituals. People gather at water's edge, washing clothes, exchanging quiet greetings, or filling clay jars with fresh water. Their movements are calm and unhurried, each action performed as though imbued with quiet dignity. Navigating deeper into the city, the canals become busier, gently bustling with activity. More canoes appear alongside yours, their occupants offering quiet nods or cheerful waves occasionally. A friendly voice calls a humorous greeting to Xochitl, who returns their banter gently, her dry wit evident even from her subtle smile. Soon, the canals lead you toward a grand open space. You hear the market before you see it, voices softly layered over the gentle rhythm of movement. Stepping onto the bustling shore, you pause briefly, absorbing the astonishing diversity unfolding around you. Stalls shaded by woven palm fronds stretch endlessly in all directions, forming labyrinthine paths of color, scent, and sound. "Welcome to Tlatelolco," Xochitl murmurs softly, clearly amused by your quiet awe. Here you will see all that our world offers. Indeed, everywhere you look, vendors carefully display their goods, woven blankets dyed in brilliant hues of indigo and crimson, baskets filled with fresh produce, pottery decorated gently with intricate designs, colourful feathers from distant lands, cacao beans, spices and honey, even small animals brought in from villages far beyond the lake. You trail behind Xochitl, quietly marvelling as she confidently navigates the market's gentle chaos. She stops often, exchanging bundles of herbs for maize, chilies, or cotton thread, each transaction performed with quiet, respectful negotiation. It delights you to witness the subtle art of barter, a delicate dance of mutual benefit, punctuated by occasional laughter or playful teasing. At one stall, Xochitl gently barters Xochitl bundles for small bags of cacao beans. You raise an eyebrow in quiet amusement, realizing cacao here serves as currency far from its fate in your modern world. You softly joke to yourself that this ancient economy's sweetness might rival your own. At least here, wealth could always be made into hot chocolate. The vendor notices your amusement, grinning softly as he hands you a small piece of honey-sweetened cacao. "Taste our treasure," he whispers conspiratorially, his eyes twinkling softly with shared humor. You bite into the gently bitter-sweet treat, savoring its complex richness. In its pure form, cacao feels honest, somehow connected to the land and people. Moving on, your senses delight continuously. Bright woven textiles drape stalls like tapestries, exotic fruits entice your curiosity, and flowers, vivid in color, perfume the air. You pause beside a vendor arranging delicate, feathered ornaments in brilliant blues, greens, and scarlets. Quetzal feathers. Xochitl murmurs quietly beside you, her voice reverent, rare and sacred. To wear them is a sign of grace. You gently touch a feather, marveling at its softness, quietly humbled by how this culture imbues everyday objects with profound meaning. Each thing holds purpose, no matter how small or subtle. The market's peaceful rhythm continues, vendors and customers alike moving gently through the space. You overhear snippets of conversation, talk of weather, gardens, family, and notice, with quiet warmth, how universally simple human concerns remain, no matter the age or place. Eventually, your basket empties, herbs exchanged for practical items, cotton thread, seeds, maize flour. You feel quietly proud, having successfully navigated your first gentle barter. Xochitl nods approvingly, her eyes warm with quiet pride. "Already you trade like one of us," she teases gently. "Next, perhaps you'll negotiate peace treaties." You chuckle softly, shaking your head at the humorous impossibility. Yet quietly, you realize even great matters can begin with gentle conversation. Together, you make your slow journey back to the waiting canoe, baskets filled with newfound goods. As you paddle slowly homeward, the market's gentle noise fades gradually behind, replaced by softer sounds of water and wildlife. You glance at Xochitl, watching her paddle steadily, face serene. Quietly, you muse about the rhythm of this place, the gardens, the market, the daily tasks performed quietly yet profoundly. Perhaps happiness resides in the small, unnoticed spaces between moments, in the quiet breaths taken while paddling home, in the brief smiles exchanged while trading herbs. As your chinampa appears ahead, gently floating beneath the late morning sun, you feel a quiet joy, a peace born of simple, purposeful living. This ancient city, with its gardens and markets, softly reminds you how life can unfold gently yet meaningfully, each moment deeply cherished. Stepping onto the dock, your feet solid beneath you now, you softly chuckle, reflecting humorously on your journey from awkward arrival to confident gardener and now skilled trader, at least in herbs and cacao beans. Quietly, you wonder what tomorrow holds, sensing more gentle lessons waiting patiently in the wings. Behind you, a gentle splash punctuates your thoughts. You glance down, meeting the curious gaze of your axolotl friend. Still no deep thoughts, you softly tease. Its blank stare holds gentle affirmation. Perhaps philosophy belongs less in debates and more in the quiet motions of living fully in the moment. Smiling gently, you turn toward your garden, ready for whatever gentle teachings tomorrow might bring. Afternoon sunlight casts its gentle warmth over your chinampa garden, filtering softly through the branches of trees that sway slightly in the breeze, returning from the bustling marketplace. The quiet serenity of your floating island feels especially comforting, a tender embrace from the world after a morning of gentle yet lively exchanges. Xochitl pauses beside the path, nodding gently toward a shaded corner of the chinampa. "Come," she murmurs softly, leading you beneath the graceful canopy of a weeping willow. "We have herbs to prepare, remedies to craft. The plants must speak to your hands now." You sit comfortably on the soft, grassy ground, placing your basket filled with traded goods beside you. Xochitl sets down her own bundle, carefully unfolding cloth to reveal an array of fresh herbs, flowers, roots, and fruits. The delicate fragrances rise gently into the air, mingling subtly with the earthy scent of damp soil and distant blooms. She begins to show you patiently how to strip leaves gently from stems, separating blossoms carefully without bruising their petals. Her movements are steady and rhythmic, each gesture practiced yet filled with quiet respect. "Gentle hands make strong medicine," she whispers softly. Noticing your careful mimicry of her actions, you nod, understanding how patience itself might be the most valuable remedy here. Nearby, a group of bright orange blossoms catches your eye. Their vibrant hue seems to glow gently, almost luminous in the shaded corner. Xochitl notices your curiosity, smiling softly. "Those are flowers of the sacred Xochitl calendula. Their petals soothe wounds and comfort tired skin." "Sid." You gently cup a blossom in your hand, surprised by its velvety softness. Quietly, you wonder how many generations have trusted such gentle healers. Perhaps the truest medicine is often found not in laboratories, but in the quiet places where humans first learned to listen deeply to nature. Xochitl guides your hands as you place the blossoms gently into small clay pots, covering them softly with honey to steep. She explains quietly that honey preserves the calendula's healing powers, transforming simple blossoms into soothing ointments. You chuckle softly, amused at how honey sweetens not only remedies, but also your growing appreciation for simplicity. As you work, Xochitl quietly shares stories of those who've come seeking her help. Young mothers soothing restless babies, warriors mending quietly after long journeys, elderly gardeners easing sore muscles from years of careful tending. You listen quietly, marveling at the timeless nature of human aches and pains. It gently surprises you how little changes, even across thousands of years. The afternoon drifts onward, gently fading into a calm, golden hour. Your hands grow fragrant with herbs, your fingertips softly stained by petals and pollen. Occasionally, you pause to stretch gently, amused to find gardening muscles now joined by new aches from remedy making. Perhaps tomorrow you'll discover yet another set of muscles quietly hiding until summoned by some other gentle task. You notice Xochitl gazing thoughtfully at a small, delicate flower. Her expression is serene, yet gently distant, as though recalling quiet memories held safely within petals. Curiously, you ask softly about the flower, sensing a deeper meaning in her careful silence. She smiles gently, her eyes warm yet reflective. This flower, Xochitl, blooms rarely once every few seasons. Our ancestors believed it could heal sadness and quiet a restless spirit. You gaze at the small white blossom, its petals fragile yet resilient. Softly, you wonder how humanity ever forgot such simple truths that flowers could mend spirits and silence could soothe troubled minds. Perhaps wisdom lies less in discovering new truths and more in gently remembering old ones. Xochitl's voice interrupts your thoughtful silence, gently amused. "Of course," she says softly, eyes twinkling. "Sometimes the best remedy for melancholy is simply laughter. Never underestimate humor's quiet power." You chuckle softly, nodding your gentle agreement. Humor, indeed, has quietly accompanied you throughout these gentle days, healing without fuss or fanfare. As the remedies take shape, carefully sealed pots and jars lined gently with leaves, you pause to reflect on the quiet significance of your work. Each simple task feels gently meaningful, a quiet act of care that quietly links you to generations who've done exactly this, tending plants, soothing ailments, quietly easing suffering. Perhaps humanity's purpose, gently considered, lies in these small, humble acts of kindness and care. Soon, the sun dips lower, casting soft amber hues across your chinampa. Xochitl rises slowly, stretching gently, her movements fluid yet clearly relieved to have finished a day's patient work. "Come," she says warmly. "The remedies must rest, and so must we." You gather your pots, carefully placing them beneath woven reed coverings, leaving them safely nestled for the night. Stepping away, you stretch your limbs gently once more, amused again by your newfound gardening physique. Quietly, you wonder if anyone back home would recognize this gently worn yet stronger version of yourself. Together, you walk slowly toward the water's edge, dipping tired feet into the cool canal waters. Nearby, small fish swim lazily, darting quietly beneath lily pads. You sigh gently, feeling calm contentment settle deeply within your chest, a feeling rare in your previous hurried existence. Xochitl gazes quietly into the fading light, her voice softly contemplative. "It amazes me still," she murmurs, "how plants grown with gentle care become medicine powerful enough to heal both bodies and hearts." You nod quietly, understanding deeply now that healing here is more than herbs. It's the patience, care, and quiet love infused into every remedy. Perhaps your own modern world, so hurried and complex, might find solace and healing in rediscovering these quiet truths. As twilight wraps itself gently around your floating garden, you rise slowly, returning quietly to your small shelter inside. You stretch onto your woven mat, breathing deeply, savoring the gentle aroma of herbs that linger softly on your fingers. Misty. Outside, the soft splash of your axolotl friend nudges gently at your awareness. Smiling softly, you whisper sleepily into the dark. Tomorrow, my friend, perhaps you'll finally explain life's mysteries. Its silence feels quietly profound, a reminder, perhaps, that wisdom resides less in the answers we seek and more in the gentle peace of questions held softly through the night. With that comforting thought, you close your eyes, drifting quietly into restful sleep, embraced gently by ancient whispers of herbs, water, and time itself. A gentle rustle of reeds whispers softly into your dreams, slowly coaxing your mind back toward wakefulness. Your eyes flutter open to the quiet of dawn, pale golden light gently spilling through gaps in your reed shelter. For a moment, you remain still, enjoying the delicate warmth against your skin, content in the comforting silence that envelops your small floating garden. Outside, the familiar hum of morning softly begins, the delicate chirping of birds, distant murmurs of voices greeting the new day, the gentle lapping of water at the edges of your chinampa. You rise slowly, muscles pleasantly stretched from days spent gathering herbs and crafting gentle remedies. As you step from your shelter, cool morning air meets your skin, carrying the fresh scents of dew-soaked leaves and blooming marigolds. Nearby, Xochitl quietly tends to her morning chores, gently coaxing fresh growth from tender plants with practiced care. She glances toward you, eyes warm and slightly amused. "I see you've chosen to rejoin the living," she murmurs gently, her voice carrying a playful tone. "I was beginning to wonder if you'd decided to become one with your reed mat." You chuckle softly, stretching your arms overhead. "Just giving the plants a chance to grow a bit taller before I start harvesting again," you reply, matching her gentle humor. Xochitl nods approvingly, handing you a small woven basket. "Today, we will prepare the gardens for the upcoming festival. The blossoms we gather will adorn the temples and homes, inviting joy and renewal into our lives." You smile warmly, intrigued by the idea of decorating an entire city with flowers. Quietly, you wonder how different modern life might feel if its rituals revolved around such gentle celebrations, simple, beautiful acts connecting people to nature, reminding them softly of their place in the world. Together, you wander slowly among the chinampas, carefully selecting flowers and greenery. Marigolds, dahlias, and delicate white blossoms gently fill your basket, their scents blending subtly to create a perfume that feels both calming and invigorating. Your fingers move gently, guided by Xochitl's quiet instructions, ensuring each plant is harvested carefully and respectfully. "These flowers," she explains gently, "each carry their own meaning. Marigolds call to the ancestors, guiding them safely home. Dahlias bring harmony and balance, White blossoms symbolize purity and peace. You nod quietly, sensing deeper truths woven softly within each bloom. Perhaps flowers speak their own quiet language, whispered softly into the hearts of those who take time to listen. The morning passes quietly, the sun climbing steadily into a clear blue sky. Soon, baskets filled with blossoms gently overflow, their vibrant colors glowing softly in the daylight. Xochitl smiles warmly, pleased with your careful work. You have gentle hands, she murmurs approvingly. The flowers trust you. You chuckle softly, joking gently. Well, as long as they don't start asking philosophical questions like the axolotl, we should be fine. Her eyes twinkle warmly with shared amusement. Oh, flowers prefer poetry. Philosophy bores them. Laughing softly, you follow Xochitl along the quiet path toward the center of the gardens. Baskets balance gently on your arms. You notice other gardeners similarly burdened, their baskets filled with blossoms, their expressions calm yet quietly joyful. As you gather near the water's edge, several small boats appear, guided gently toward the waiting gardeners. Together, you carefully load baskets onto the vessels, each gently placed to avoid bruising petals or leaves. Soon, the boats become floating gardens themselves, vibrant and alive with color. You climb carefully into one of the boats, sitting comfortably as it gently moves through the canals toward the city center. Around you, quiet conversations drift softly across the water, gardener to gardener, neighbor to neighbor, each voice filled with warmth and gentle anticipation. Eventually, the canals broaden into a wide, tranquil lagoon, its edges lined with temples and homes. People gather quietly along the banks, waiting patiently for the arrival of flowers. Children laugh softly, pointing excitedly toward the colorful procession now floating gently toward them. Stepping carefully onto shore, you join the gathered crowd, basket in hand. Slowly, respectfully, you move toward a stone temple, its steps bathed softly in sunlight. Xochitl gestures gently for you to follow her example, carefully laying blossoms along each stone stair. As you place flowers upon ancient stone, you pause quietly, noticing the gentle yet profound symbolism, the soft petals transforming the cold, hard surface into something alive and welcoming. Quietly, you wonder how such small gestures can hold such immense meaning. Around you, others follow suit, quietly adorning buildings, walkways, and altars. Soon, the city seems transformed, its quiet stone surfaces softened by blooms, its pathways gently perfumed. The festival's gentle preparation quietly evokes renewal, reminding you softly that life's true celebrations are often quiet, humble moments filled with simple beauty. So Xochitl approaches, gently placing a hand on your shoulder, her voice softly reflective. Each festival, we renew not only our city, but ourselves. We celebrate quietly, remembering our place in this endless cycle. You nod thoughtfully, musing softly on cycles of renewal. Perhaps true happiness lies less in grand achievements and more in quiet acts of remembrance, gentle, recurring rituals that softly remind us who we are and what truly matters. As the preparations finish, you pause to gaze across the now decorated city. Everywhere, blossoms glow gently beneath sunlight, their quiet beauty transforming familiar spaces into sacred places of gentle celebration. Xochitl smiles warmly, softly nudging your arm. Tomorrow, the festival begins. Tonight, we rest. Come. Together, you journey slowly back toward your chinampa. Baskets emptied, yet hearts gently filled. Twilight paints the sky softly in hues of lavender and gold, casting reflections onto calm waters below. Arriving home, you stretch comfortably, tired yet content. Quietly, you return to your shelter, lying gently on your woven mat, breathing softly. Savoring scents of flowers still lingering faintly on your fingertips.
Outside, a gentle splash marks your axolotl friend's return. You smile sleepily, whispering into the quiet night. No philosophy tonight, only poetry.
Its gentle silence agrees warmly, and as you close your eyes, you softly recite an imaginary poem, quiet verses filled with flowers, gardens, and the gentle rhythms of life. And with that tender thought held warmly in your heart, sleep quietly embraces you, gently carrying you into restful dreams, softly perfumed with blossoms and peace. Night settles softly over your chinampa, deepening gradually until stars bloom gently in the sky, twinkling like tiny blossoms strewn across indigo silk. Around you, the gardens whisper quietly, leaves rustling gently beneath a cool evening breeze. Tonight, rest comes easily. Cradled warmly by your woven mat, your senses softly lulled by the distant, rhythmic sounds of nightbirds and gently lapping waters. Yet just as you drift towards sleep, quiet footsteps stir gently nearby, their approach respectful yet clearly purposeful. Blinking softly, you rise to peer through the reed entrance, recognizing Xochitl's familiar figure silhouetted softly by starlight. "Apologies," she whispers gently, her voice carrying quiet warmth. "But tonight we share stories beneath the stars. It would be incomplete without you." You smile gently, stretching your limbs, quietly amused by the notion that sleep must sometimes surrender softly to stories. Rising slowly, you follow Xochitl along the narrow pathways, each step whispering softly into the silence of night. Together, you arrive at a small clearing near the chinampa's edge. Here, others already gather quietly, seated comfortably on woven mats arranged in a gentle circle. A small, softly glowing fire flickers warmly at the circle's heart, its light painting faces softly with gold. You settle comfortably beside Xochitl, breathing deeply, savoring night's gentle tranquility. Conversations murmur softly, punctuated occasionally by quiet laughter, as people await stories that will soon weave gently through the evening air. An elderly gardener, her hair silver beneath starlight, rises slowly, stepping closer to the fire. Her presence quiets the gathering, each face softly attentive. Her voice, when she speaks, is warm and rich, gently carrying echoes of generations past. "Tonight, beneath these gentle stars," she murmurs softly, "we remember stories gifted by those who lived long before us. Stories that remind us who we are." Quietly, respectfully, you lean forward slightly, feeling a gentle thrill and ancient anticipation woven quietly into the human spirit, awakened softly by fireside tales. She begins gently, her voice weaving tales of creation, of gods and goddesses who sculpted worlds softly from darkness, who breathed life gently into rivers and mountains. Each word feels like music, rhythmic and soft, deeply comforting. As she speaks, you gaze upward, stars quietly blinking their silent approval. You muse gently how ancient people, beneath these same stars, found solace and meaning in such quiet myths, stories guiding them gently through life's uncertainties. Soon, another voice rises, a younger gardener, whose tone carries gentle humor. He recounts softly the misadventures of garden spirits, mischievous beings who hid gardening tools or subtly rearranged blossoms overnight. Quiet chuckles ripple warmly around the circle, shared amusement gently bridging gaps of age and time. Xochitl leans gently toward you, whispering softly, eyes twinkling. You see, even spirits tire of gardening sometimes, but their pranks remind us gently to find joy in small inconveniences. You laugh softly, nodding quietly, appreciating humor's gentle wisdom. Perhaps laughter truly holds quiet magic, the ability to transform small frustrations into gentle reminders of life's lighter moments. Another woman rises, her voice gentle yet poignant, recounting softly a tale of ancestors who journeyed bravely to these lands, guided gently by dreams and stars. Her words evoke quiet strength, resilience found softly within communities bound together by hope and gentle trust. Listening quietly, you feel deeply connected, each story, each voice, weaving gently into your own experience, softly teaching you that life's most profound truths often hide gently within stories told beneath starlit skies. As the evening continues softly, stories gradually fade into gentle conversation, each tale quietly becoming threads in a larger tapestry. Eventually, voices soften further, conversations becoming gentle whispers, punctuated softly by comfortable silences. So, Xochitl rises slowly, stretching gently, her movements fluid, yet clearly grateful for the quiet gathering. "Sleep now," she murmurs softly, voice warm with quiet affection. Tomorrow holds its own quiet promises. Quietly, people disperse, stepping softly into darkness toward homes and shelters. You rise slowly, pausing briefly to gaze upward again, marveling quietly at how deeply stories connect humanity, bridging softly across generations, cultures, time itself. Returning gently to your chinampa shelter, you lie quietly upon your woven mat, mind softly drifting toward rest. The night's stories echo gently within you, myths of creation, playful garden spirits, ancestors guided quietly by stars. You find yourself gently reflecting on your own modern world, wondering softly how many stories have been lost beneath bright city lights, drowned softly by noise and haste. Perhaps humanity's greatest loss isn't knowledge or progress, but the quiet wisdom hidden gently within stories told beneath quiet, starlit skies. A soft splash outside nudges gently at your thoughts. Smiling softly, you whisper playfully, "Still awake, my philosophical axolotl." Perhaps even you have stories to share tonight. Its gentle silence agrees softly, and you find quiet amusement in imagining stories told gently by axolotl's simple tales of water, reeds, and quiet, curious humans who speak softly into the darkness. Slowly, sleep embraces you once more, gently carried by echoes of firelit tales, starlight, and the quiet wisdom softly shared beneath ancient skies. Tonight, your dreams weave softly through gentle stories, whispered warmly by voices both ancient and new. guiding you gently toward deeper understanding. And in this gentle embrace of story and silence, you sleep deeply, warmly cradled by time itself. The first gentle rays of dawn slip softly into your dreams, gently coaxing your senses awake. You open your eyes slowly, greeted by the faint, rosy glow filtering through the woven reed walls, each soft strand casting delicate patterns across your sleepy gaze. Stretching gently, you rise, savoring the peaceful ache of muscles well used and spirits deeply replenished by restful dreams. Today feels different, somehow special, carrying an air of quiet anticipation. Outside your shelter, the gardens hum gently with morning energy, voices softly calling greetings, the splashes of canoes slipping quietly through canals, each sound forming part of this ancient daily melody. Stepping outside, you inhale deeply, senses bathed gently in the freshness of dawn, the familiar earthy aroma of damp soil, the delicate fragrance of opening blossoms, the subtle sweetness of morning dew. Nearby, Xochitl is already awake, her quiet presence a comforting anchor as she gathers baskets and tools.
"Good," she murmurs warmly, eyes gentle yet alert. "You've awakened at last. Today, we journey farther, deeper into the gardens, where rarer herbs grow."
You smile softly, intrigued by the promise of exploring new spaces within this ancient landscape. Gathering your woven basket, you follow Xochitl toward a waiting canoe, its polished wooden surface gently reflecting the morning sky. As you glide smoothly through the canals, the city slowly fades behind you, replaced by quieter, more secluded waters. Here, chinampas are fewer, their gardens wilder and more vibrant, bursting gently with plants less tended but somehow thriving even more brilliantly. You paddle quietly, guided by Xochitl's steady rhythm, absorbing the gentle solitude of this hidden corner. Birds sing softly from overhanging branches, their songs layered gently over the quiet sounds of nature's subtle movements, the rustle of reeds, the whisper of leaves, the occasional gentle splash of unseen creatures beneath the water's surface. Soon, Xochitl steers the canoe toward a narrow, shaded canal, its surface dappled gently with sunlight filtering softly through a dense canopy overhead. You duck instinctively, laughing softly as low-hanging vines brush gently across your shoulders. You must be careful, Xochitl teases gently. The vines here have claimed many hats and occasionally gardeners. You chuckle warmly, grateful for her quiet humor that gently dissolves any lingering hesitation. Emerging from beneath the canopy, your canoe opens onto a small lagoon, secluded and serene, its edges fringed with plants you haven't seen before, lush ferns, delicate orchids, and slender reeds rising gracefully from the water. Xochitl gestures gently toward a cluster of floating plants, their broad leaves shimmering softly in the sunlight. "This is clemati," she whispers reverently, carefully paddling closer. A rare plant, used sparingly. Its leaves soothe fever and restore balance. Carefully, you lean forward, gently harvesting a few leaves, their cool surface smooth beneath your fingers. You wonder softly how many generations have sought relief from such simple yet powerful plants. Perhaps true healing often hides quietly within nature's humble offerings. Nearby, Xochitl gathers other plants, delicate water lilies, fragrant water mint, slender reeds whose roots hold quiet medicinal secrets. She quietly explains their uses, easing headaches, calming restlessness, cleansing wounds. Her words carry gentle pride, a quiet reverence for nature's healing wisdom. You listen quietly, struck gently by the delicate balance here, human hands working softly alongside nature's quiet abundance, neither overpowering nor dominating, simply coexisting in quiet harmony. Pausing briefly, you gaze upward, noticing a hummingbird suspended gently in midair. Its wings a blur of quiet movement. Its tiny body glows faintly iridescent beneath sunlight, a gentle jewel of nature. Quietly, you wonder at its grace, pondering softly how nature often crafts profound beauty within smallest details. Xochitl chuckles softly, noticing your thoughtful gaze. The hummingbird teaches patience, she whispers gently, eyes twinkling. It hovers, moves softly, never rushing. Perhaps we too should move softly through life, finding beauty in quiet pauses. You nod thoughtfully, appreciating her quiet wisdom. Perhaps modern life rushes too quickly, missing gentle moments where beauty quietly waits to be noticed. Your basket's gently filled, you paddle slowly back through shaded canals, savoring quiet companionship and gentle silence. Soon, familiar chinampas reappear, signaling your return home. Quietly, you muse how deeply connected you feel now, part of this gentle, timeless cycle of planting, gathering, healing. Returning to your chinampa, you carefully unload baskets, arranging plants gently for later use. Xochitl pauses, stretching gently, smiling softly at your careful work. Tonight, she murmurs warmly, the festival begins. Our gentle labors prepare us well. As evening approaches, quiet anticipation builds softly throughout the gardens. People gather gently, sharing smiles and quiet laughter. Children's eyes bright with excitement. You feel deeply welcomed, connected gently to this community by shared labors, quiet moments, gentle stories. As twilight softly settles, torches gently illuminate paths, their flickering light casting warmth across faces gathered quietly. Drums begin gently, rhythms softly pulsing through night air, inviting quiet movement. You smile softly, recognizing ancient human rhythms, gentle beats echoing softly through generations, connecting past to present. Quietly, you join a gentle circle forming beneath starlit skies, movements slow and rhythmic, dancing softly with those around you. Each step feels natural, guided gently by quiet music, warmth, and companionship. Nearby, Xochitl dances gently, her face softly joyful, movements fluid yet gentle. As the evening deepens gently, celebrations quieten, fading softly toward rest. You wander slowly back toward your chinampa, steps guided gently by moonlight and soft memories of music and movement. Settling onto your woven mat, you sigh gently, body pleasantly tired yet spirit deeply refreshed. Quietly, you reflect on this gentle festival, how it celebrates life's quiet rhythms, connects community through gentle rituals, and softly reminds everyone that true joy lies often in simplest moments shared beneath quiet stars.
Outside, a familiar gentle splash echoes softly. Smiling sleepily, you murmur warmly, perhaps you dance too, my quiet philosopher.
Its gentle silence affirms softly. Quietly amused, you close your eyes, allowing gentle sleep to wrap softly around you, filled with echoes of music, dance, and quiet companionship beneath ancient skies. And tonight, gently dreaming, You realize softly that your greatest discovery here isn't ancient plants or forgotten wisdom, but quiet belonging, a gentle truth found softly within community, simplicity, and quiet rhythms of life itself. Morning comes quietly, the soft whispers of dawn gently coaxing you awake. Opening your eyes slowly, you feel the lingering warmth of last night's festival still softly humming in your bones, a comforting reminder of gentle dances beneath starlit skies. For a moment, you remain still, savoring the peaceful quiet, the distant sounds of morning birds softly greeting the new day. Stepping outside your shelter, the gardens unfold softly before you, bathed in the gentle golden hues of sunrise. The chinampas feel quiet, yet alive, each leaf and blossom gently refreshed by the cool night air. Breathing deeply, you let the fresh scents of dew and blooming flowers fill your senses, softly reconnecting you to the quiet rhythms of this floating garden. Xochitl is already awake, quietly watering herbs and plants with careful movements. She glances warmly toward you, eyes gentle and knowing. "Good morning, festival dancer," she teases softly, eyes twinkling. "I trust you rested well after your graceful debut." You chuckle softly, stretching your arms above your head. "I think my feet are still dancing in their sleep," you joke gently, sharing quiet laughter. Together, you move softly among the garden beds, tending plants with careful hands, feeling once more the peaceful satisfaction of quiet work. Soon, Xochitl gestures gently toward a shaded spot beneath a tall, graceful cypress. "Come," she murmurs softly. "Today we learn deeper secrets of our gardens." Curious, you follow, settling comfortably onto soft grass beneath the cypress branches. Xochitl kneels gently beside you, her movements calm and deliberate. "Gardening is more than planting seeds or watering herbs," she begins quietly, her voice soft yet thoughtful. "It's about understanding life itself, how each plant, each leaf, teaches patience and harmony." You listen quietly, intrigued by her gentle philosophy. Perhaps gardening, you muse softly, truly holds wisdom humanity often overlooks. Carefully, she takes a small woven pouch from her pocket, gently opening it to reveal tiny seeds, dark, smooth, each small and seemingly insignificant. "These seeds," she explains gently, "hold the future, yet each grows differently, in its own quiet way." You hold one seed gently, marveling softly at how something so small contains life's quiet potential. Perhaps people, you ponder gently, are similar, each carrying unseen possibilities, quietly waiting for the right conditions to bloom. Xochitl smiles softly, sensing your quiet reflection. "When you plant seeds," she continues gently, "you offer them trust, care, patience. In return, they teach you about yourself." Quietly thoughtful, you nod, realizing gently how gardening here has already revealed quiet truths about your own nature, patience, care, humor, community. Perhaps seeds aren't the only ones quietly transformed by garden soil. Moving quietly to a nearby bed, Xochitl shows you carefully how to prepare soil, loosening gently with fingertips. Creating small pockets for each seed, she places seeds softly, covering each gently with earth. Movements rhythmic and calming. Following her lead, you carefully plant seeds beside her, finding quiet joy in this gentle, simple task. Each small act feels meaningful, quietly affirming life's gentle yet profound cycle: planting, growing, harvesting, resting. As you work, Xochitl quietly shares gentle wisdom. Gardens teach balance, she murmurs softly. Too much water or sunlight harms plants, too little starves them. Life is similar, we must find harmony in everything. You smile softly, nodding in gentle agreement, quietly. You wonder how modern life might change if people listened softly to nature's subtle lessons about balance. Soon, seeds safely nestled within earth. You rise slowly, stretching gently. Xochitl nods approvingly, eyes warm. They will grow quietly, she murmurs gently, just as you have here. You chuckle softly, amused yet touched by her quiet compliment. Perhaps growth, you muse gently, truly does happen best in quiet places, away from life's noisy distractions. As afternoon gently approaches, you pause, glancing upward, noticing soft clouds drifting lazily across a clear sky. Quietly, you reflect on how your life here has taught you simplicity's gentle power each day, quiet yet rich, humble yet deeply fulfilling. Xochitl gestures warmly toward the canal's edge. "Come," she whispers gently. "There's something else you should see." Intrigued, you follow, stepping carefully into a waiting canoe. As you paddle quietly through familiar canals, curiosity gently grows within you. Soon, Xochitl steers toward a small hidden inlet, its entrance nearly invisible beneath dense greenery. Passing softly beneath branches, you emerge into a quiet lagoon, its waters calm and reflective. Around you, chinampas float gently, their surfaces lush, yet untouched, softly wild. Here, birds sing quietly, undisturbed, their melodies blending softly with sounds of leaves rustling gently in the breeze. Xochitl pauses quietly, voice soft yet reverent. "This place," she murmurs gently, "remains untouched nature, tending itself." You gaze quietly, softly amazed by the peaceful honey untouched beauty. Quietly, you realize how nature flourishes when gently respected, left softly to its own rhythms. Perhaps true wisdom lies less in dominating nature, more in quietly observing, gently coexisting. Nearby, a small movement catches your eye. Peering gently downward, you notice your axolotl friend floating quietly, its gaze curiously directed toward you. You laugh softly, whispering warmly, "Finally decided to show me your secret garden, my quiet philosopher." Its gentle stare feels warmly affirmative. Xochitl chuckles softly, noticing your quiet interaction. Even axolotls appreciate quiet beauty, she murmurs gently. As the sun dips lower, casting gentle amber hues across the lagoon, you paddle slowly homeward, heart quietly full. Today has shown gentle truths about balance, respect, quiet coexistence, each softly shaping your understanding. Returning gently to your chinampa, you step onto familiar soil, senses softly attuned to subtle changes around you. Quietly, you realize this garden has become part of you. Each leaf, blossom, seed, teaching quietly, gently shaping who you've become. Settling onto your woven mat, sleep gently approaches. Quietly, You reflect once more on today's gentle teachings, softly grateful for each moment spent tending gardens, planting seeds, listening quietly to nature's wisdom. Outside, a gentle splash echoes softly. Smiling warmly, you murmur sleepily, "Good night, my wise axolotl. Tomorrow brings more quiet lessons." Its silence warmly agrees and gently drifting toward dreams. You softly realize that true wisdom, quiet, profound, timeless, lies not in grand achievements, but in quiet rhythms of nature, gently observed, softly learned. And with this gentle truth quietly nestled within your heart, you sleep deeply, warmly cradled by ancient wisdom, whispered softly through gardens, water, and gentle stars. Dawn arrives softly, painting gentle strokes of lavender and gold across your small chinampa, each hue quietly dissolving the edges between night and morning. Your eyes flutter gently open, senses greeted warmly by familiar aromas of herbs, blossoms, and damp earth, comforting scents that speak softly of belonging and home. You rise slowly, stretching limbs with pleasant laziness, savoring the peaceful quiet that embraces your garden sanctuary. Stepping outside, morning air greets your skin softly, carrying whispers of dew, soil, and fresh greenery. Nearby, Xochitl tends quietly to plants, movements calm, rhythmic, each gesture filled with gentle care. She smiles warmly, eyes gentle yet mischievous. "Good morning," she murmurs softly, amusement twinkling gently in her gaze. "Today we will prepare a special remedy, a quiet healing that soothes the spirit as much as the body." Intrigued, you join her, following quietly along paths you now know well, toward herbs carefully cultivated for their gentle healing qualities. Soon, you pause before a cluster of soft purple blossoms, their fragrance delicate yet deeply comforting. "This is Xochitl," Xochitl whispers reverently, fingers brushing petals gently. It comforts worries, calms troubled heart. Our ancestors believed its scent restored peace. You inhale gently, sensing quiet tranquility hidden within blossoms. Perhaps modern worries, you muse softly, might benefit from simple yet profound remedies hidden gently in nature's quiet beauty. Carefully, you gather blossoms, placing them gently in your woven basket. Xochitl softly teaches you how to pair Xochitl with other gentle herbs, marigolds, calendula, watermint, each combination designed quietly to restore balance, soothe restlessness, comfort sadness. Together, you sit beneath gentle shade, blending herbs slowly, movements rhythmic, meditative. Quiet task feels deeply calming, hands working gently while your mind softly wanders, reflecting quietly on how human needs remain timeless, each era gently seeking comfort, peace, balance. So, Xochitl notices your thoughtful expression, gently amused. The herbs speak quietly. "Don't they?" she murmurs softly, eyes twinkling warmly. Their wisdom seeps gently into hands and hearts. You chuckle softly, nodding quietly. I wonder what they'd think of my old world, so hurried, noisy, restless. Xochitl smiles gently, voice softly philosophical. Perhaps they would simply offer quiet healing, as they always have. You reflect quietly, sensing truth in her gentle wisdom. Perhaps humanity's deepest needs remain unchanged: comfort, belonging, quiet moments of peace gently shared. Finishing remedies, carefully sealed in clay jars, you rise slowly, stretching gently. Xochitl nods approvingly, eyes warm. Your hands grow wise, she murmurs softly, gently proud. Perhaps soon you'll teach others quiet secrets of gardens. You laugh gently, quietly humbled by her praise. Perhaps true wisdom lies less in words spoken loudly, more in gentle actions quietly repeated each day. As afternoon gently arrives, Xochitl gestures warmly toward waiting canoes. "Come," she whispers softly. "Today we deliver remedies quietly to those needing comfort." You step carefully into the canoe, balancing jars gently. Soon, canals carry you softly toward distant neighborhoods, gardens replaced quietly by modest homes, shaded pathways, small plazas softly bustling with gentle activity. You pause gently at homes, warmly greeted by quiet smiles, grateful eyes. Each small delivery feels profoundly meaningful, quietly offering comfort, easing troubles, restoring peace gently to daily lives. At one home, an elderly woman greets you warmly, eyes softly weary yet gentle. You carefully hand her remedies, explaining quietly their use. Her gratitude softly touches your heart, reminding gently how small kindnesses hold quiet yet immense value. So, Xochitl whispers softly as you paddle onward, voice warm. Each remedy we deliver quietly heals not only bodies but communities. Acts of kindness ripple gently outward. You nod quietly, reflecting gently how such simple truths often elude busy modern lives. Perhaps kindness, softly practiced, remains humanity's most profound healing. Returning homeward, canals gently guiding your canoe. You reflect softly on today's quiet lessons, remedies crafted gently, healing quietly shared, kindness softly connecting community. Perhaps life's deepest wisdom quietly hides within such humble acts. Arriving gently at your chinampa, you unload empty baskets, heart quietly full. Xochitl gently pats your shoulder, eyes warm. Today, you've quietly helped heal lives. Sleep well, healer. Smiling gently, you return to your small shelter, stretching comfortably onto woven mats outside. Twilight settles gently, softly deepening into night. Quietly, you reflect on remedies delivered, kindness softly shared, gentle wisdom quietly learned. A familiar soft splash nudges gently at your thoughts. Chuckling softly, you murmur sleepily, "Today, my quiet philosopher." We healed hearts together. Its gentle silence warmly agrees, quietly drifting toward restful dreams. You softly realize true wisdom, gentle, timeless lies within quiet kindness, compassion softly shared beneath ancient skies.
And tonight, gently sleeping, you softly understand your greatest lesson here. Quietly whispers that humanity, at heart, seeks quiet comfort, gentle connection, kindness softly offered.
Warmly cradled by this gentle truth, you sleep deeply, peacefully, softly healed by quiet remedies, crafted gently beneath timeless stars. The sky is a soft wash of pearl and pale gold when you rise the next morning, your body sinking back briefly into the familiar texture of the woven mat before the promise of a new day gently lifts you up. There's a stillness in the air, not empty, but full, like a bowl holding quiet anticipation. Outside, the garden breathes slowly under the dawn light, and you walk barefoot along the damp earth, dew clinging gently to your toes. You find Xochitl kneeling at the edge of the canal, trimming reeds into clean lengths with her obsidian-bladed knife. She doesn't look up as she greets you. "Today," she says calmly, "you'll learn how to speak without words." You blink, slightly amused. More axolotl philosophy. She chuckles. "No, something older. Flowers, arranged with care. They say things no tongue ever could." You crouch beside her as she continues cutting, explaining how flower arrangements, Xochitl tlaquinoli, carry meanings: a cluster of red blossoms to offer courage, a spray of white petals to express gratitude, yellow for joy, blue for mourning, green for renewal. Each choice, each placement, holds weight. The Aztecs, it seems, could speak entire sentences in silence, using only stalks, petals, and stems. As she passes you the bundled reeds, you begin assembling the base of what she calls a spirit, offering a gift of beauty to the gods, to neighbors, to those grieving or healing. There's no rush, no chatter, just the two of you, working slowly in the filtered morning light, arranging meaning with your hands. You're surprised by how focused you become, how choosing a particular flower color or bending a reed just so can completely change the tone. It's not unlike music or poetry or seasoning food, invisible forces shaping feeling. Xochitl watches you quietly. When words are too heavy, she murmurs, "We give flowers. When joy overflows, we give them too. They hold everything celebration and sorrow, birth and death." You run your fingers over a long crimson bloom, newly familiar. "And what would these say?" you ask softly. She tilts her head, appraising your creation. "That you've listened well," she says. "That you're starting to see the world the way the plants do, without judgment, but with endless patience." The arrangement is meant for a neighbor who recently lost a brother. You carry it carefully down the canal in a canoe, the flowers resting across your knees, swaying only slightly with each paddle stroke. The journey is quiet. You don't need to speak. When you arrive, the recipient, an older man with a gentle face and tired eyes, accepts the gift with reverence. He doesn't ask what it means. He simply places it near the door of his reed house and touches your shoulder in thanks. That touch says everything.
As you paddle back, Xochitl says nothing. She simply smiles and passes you a few dried flowers. For your own mat tonight, she explains, so you remember what you've learned.
You place the bundle beside your sleeping space when you return. Later, while gathering more blooms, you catch yourself pausing at each bush, each vine, wondering not just what to pick, but what each plant might wish to say. You find that you no longer think of them as ingredients or decorations, but as quiet companions, full of thought and presence. After the sun slips past its highest point, the two of you sit beneath a jacaranda tree, watching the breeze scatter purple blossoms into the water. Xochitl tells you that, in times of conflict, the Aztecs used flower arrangements to begin apologies, to start conversations when words had failed or wounds had gone too deep. You wonder, she says, not quite asking, if your world could have used more flowers. You smile sadly, answering with silence. You think of busy streets and rushed goodbyes, of digital messages and perfunctory gifts. What might have changed if you had offered a simple yellow blossom, or a green shoot, or a single white petal? That night, after a small shared meal of warm atole and roasted squash, you arrange your own bundle again. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. The act itself is enough. The flowers will understand.
Outside, your axolotl friend appears again, its slick head bobbing silently above the surface of the canal. I left out a red bloom today, you whisper, courage.
It blinks at you, possibly judging, or possibly agreeing. You lie back on your mat. The dried flowers beside you still hold a faint scent, sweet, grassy, grounded. You close your eyes, letting the weight of the day dissolve. You're beginning to understand that not all language is sound, and not all silence is empty. Some silences are full of meaning, like this one. The next morning arrives with a hush, a kind of stillness that feels intentional, like the world has paused just slightly, waiting for you to notice it. You wake slowly, body warm beneath a thin woven blanket, the faint scent of dried flowers still lingering near your mat. Your first breath tastes like earth and water and morning sun. Outside, the Chinampa is dewy and alive, shimmering softly with the light of a rising sun that filters through cypress branches and corn leaves. You hear a gentle splashing in the distance, a paddle, slow and steady, and the call of a white ibis echoing like a single, ancient note across the water. Xochitl greets you, as she always does, with a nod and a quiet smile. Today, however, she carries no basket. Instead, she leads you wordlessly down a shaded garden path, motioning for you to follow As you pass beds of herbs you now recognize without needing to ask epazote, hoja santa, purslane. These plants, once mysterious, now feel like neighbors you wave to as you walk by.
Today, Xochitl says as you reach the water's edge, we do nothing.
You look at her, puzzled. Well, she clarifies, amused, we watch. She gestures across the canal, where a large jacaranda tree leans gracefully over the water. Beneath it, birds, dozens of them. Swallows, motmots, hummingbirds, and herons. Some dart and dive, others perch quietly on reeds. Their movements are deliberate, never frantic. Each has a task, and none of them appear hurried. You sit beside her, cross-legged on a mat she's brought from the boat. The sun climbs slowly. A light breeze stirs the water. For the next hour, or maybe two, you simply observe.
A heron stalks silently through shallow water, lifting one leg at a time with such stillness it seems to stop time. A hummingbird sips from a morning glory bloom, its wings a blur, its tongue invisible. You notice the way each creature seems in harmony with the world, unconcerned with time or purpose as you've always known it.
Xochitl speaks softly. Our ancestors believed birds were messengers, not just between gods and people, but between this world and the hidden rhythms of nature. You nod slowly, watching a motmot swish its tail like a pendulum, as if it knows a secret you've yet to earn. Some say the bird's song tells the plants when to open, she continues, and that bees dance because they heard a tune only birds can sing. You smile, wondering if science might call it instinct, and if instinct is just another name for ancient agreements we've forgotten. Xochitl plucks a single reed from the ground and begins to braid it slowly. When I was a girl, she says, my grandmother would bring me here. She said if I could sit long enough without speaking, the birds would show me who I was.
And did they, you ask?
She finishes her braid, tying it into a loop, and slips it over your wrist. Eventually, she says, her eyes soft, but only when I stopped trying to be anything at all. You sit together in silence again. The sun is higher now. The birds move differently, less hunting, more gliding. A pair of kingfishers land on a branch, one offering a fish to the other, like a gift. It makes you think of something Xochitl said earlier, that in her world, healing and care aren't confined to herbs or rituals. They're in gestures, in presence, in watching, without interfering.
A splash breaks your reverie. You look down.
Your axolotl friend has returned, floating near the boat, little limbs splayed like a lazy star. It blinks up at you with its usual expressionless face.
Learning from the birds today, you whisper. Don't worry, I'm not trying too hard.
The axolotl responds by turning in a slow circle, bubbles rising lazily behind it. You take that as approval.
Eventually, Xochitl rises. Time to return, she says. Birds have sung their part.
You paddle back slowly, both of you quiet, as if carrying home a secret too delicate to speak aloud. When you arrive, you resume your daily tasks, checking moisture levels in the soil, whispering to the plants as you pluck wilted leaves, rinsing bundles of mint and marigold in the canal. Everything feels just a bit different, lighter, quieter. That evening, you sit at the edge of your chinampa, legs dangling just above the water. The sky is awash in indigo and tangerine, and you can just barely hear a lone nightbird calling across the lake. You reach up and touch the braided reed around your wrist. You wonder what the birds saw in you. You wonder what you saw in them.
You don't rush to answer. That's not how it works here. Not anymore.
By morning, the sky is washed clean, soft and wide, like someone has exhaled over the entire valley. The air is light, sun-warmed, but laced with a refreshing coolness that whispers of change. Today, as you rise and stretch, you feel a quiet alertness humming beneath the surface of your chest, like something within you has been gently winding toward this moment. Xochitl meets you by the water with 2 empty baskets, her hair tied in a looped braid, a strip of deep blue cotton cloth wrapped around her waist. "We gather today for the festival's heart," she says. "The offerings for the altar. This harvest must be perfect, balanced, and beautiful."
You tilt your head slightly, unsure. Haven't we already gathered so many things?
She smiles, but there's a weight to it, one of ceremony, not burden. We gathered for people. Today, we gather for the gods. You paddle together to a far-off chinampa, one rarely used. The rows here are wilder, yet more vibrant. Birds scatter at your approach. Insects buzz gently from leaf to leaf. The ground beneath your feet feels springier somehow, almost alive with anticipation. Xochitl instructs you to gather not just by type, but by harmony. Colors must speak. Shapes must balance. Don't just pick what's useful, pick what sings. You begin to move through the rows, selecting clusters of yellow marigold, their pungent, cheerful scent clinging to your hands. You choose bursts of red and orange from trumpet vines and cosmos, long-stemmed greens to frame them, pale purple flowers whose names you don't yet know, but whose softness feels like a sigh. Each blossom goes into your basket like a note in a song, careful, quiet, considered.
As the baskets fill, Xochitl leads you back to her reed house. Inside it, the space is cool and dim. She lays down woven mats and begins arranging the flowers into tall bundles, binding stems with maguey fibre and decorating them with feathers, clay beads, and most delicately drops of dried copal resin, which glint like amber tears in the light.
"This," she says, "is the soul of our offering. We give beauty back to the world because it gives beauty to us." You mirror her actions, and hands slower but growing more confident will be. The process is meditative. You lose track of time. There's only color, scent, texture. Your fingers are stained yellow from petals. You don't mind? Later, you help carry the bundles to a large plaza at the center of the floating gardens, a ceremonial space surrounded by water on 3 sides, like an island made of intention. Others arrive, each bringing something: baskets of fruit, painted gourds, folded cloths, clay figurines, drums, even handfuls of maize painted with natural dyes.
An altar has been built, a simple stone structure adorned with carvings of rain and maize, sun and jaguar, water and wind. Upon it, offerings are carefully arranged, each object placed with a reverence that feels almost instinctual.
When your turn comes, you step forward slowly and place your arrangement down beside the others. The weight of it leaves your hand, but something remains: an echo, a vibration of participation, of meaning. You glance to your left and catch Xochitl watching you, not critically, but with calm pride. She nods once. Nothing more is needed. Drums begin slowly, like footsteps, like heartbeats. The ceremony unfolds with soft spoken prayers, rhythmic chants, and the gentle smell of burning copal, its thick, resinous smoke curling like ghost branches through the air. The sun begins to lower, washing the scene in golden light, making the flowers seem almost aflame.
It's not spectacle, it's rhythm, breath, time itself pulsing softly in unison. You don't fully understand every word, every gesture, but you feel it out in your bones. In the spaces between breaths, you are part of something older than explanation. That this garden, this water, these people, they carry a memory you've somehow been folded into. At some point, a child taps your elbow and hands you a small marigold bloom. She doesn't say a word. You accept it. And when you turn back toward the altar, you understand. You step forward and gently set it among the others. A final offering. Night comes as the drums fade and the chants soften into humming. Torches are lit. Laughter returns in gentle waves. People eat together, past jugs of fruit water and tamales wrapped in steam-softened leaves. There is no hurry to leave. The celebration breathes like a living thing, slow and open. As the sky deepens to indigo, you sit quietly beside Xochitl at the water's edge, your feet dangling just above the surface. She says nothing at first. Then softly, you placed your flower like someone who remembers.
You look down at your hands, still scented with petals and smoke. Maybe I do.
A splash nearby. The axolotl. Of course.
It floats lazily, as if it too had a long day of spiritual participation and flower arranging.
I suppose you had something on the altar as well, you murmur.
It spins once, dramatically,
You laugh.
and you stay there for a while longer. The night wrapping around you like a blanket, your place in this garden, this ceremony, this time and space, now woven in quietly, like a single thread in an endless tapestry, bright, small, and exactly where it belongs. Morning arrives like an exhale after song, quiet, relaxed, full of warmth. There's a feeling in the air, light as the mist rising off the canals, that something has shifted, settled. The celebration is over, but what remains is not absence, it's fullness. You wake slowly, not out of tiredness, but from a strange kind of stillness inside, a satisfying hush. You sit up on your mat, run your fingers through your hair, and feel the texture of dried flower petals still tucked beside your sleeping space. Last night feels dreamlike, but its scent lingers. Outside, the Chinampa glistens in the early light. The reeds sway softly in the breeze, and the sound of paddles echoes faintly through the canals, neighbors returning to their daily rhythms, as if life simply folds celebrations back into itself without pause. Xochitl greets you with a clay cup of warm atole, lightly sweetened with honey and spiced with cinnamon bark. You sip it slowly, letting the warmth fill your chest as she sits beside you, cross-legged and quiet. The gods are satisfied, she says eventually, gazing across the water. Now the work continues. You nod. There's something comforting in the idea that even after a sacred offering, you return to planting, healing, paddling, laughing. You've learned now that ritual doesn't disrupt life, it deepens it. Today's task is simple, and that feels perfect. Xochitl hands you a shallow clay bowl. We'll replant today, and we'll begin where the ground is soft. You spend the morning together, gently retying bundles of herbs, pruning stems that bloomed for the festival, and tucking seeds into damp soil hands moving with muscle memory now, unhurried and precise. The rhythm of it is meditative. Each plant feels like an old friend returning from a long journey, settling back into home.
Occasionally, Xochitl hums a low, tuneless melody that matches the sway of the trees and the movement of your hands. It's not a song you know, but it feels ancient, like it belongs to this garden, this morning, this life.
By midday, you pause under the jacaranda tree. Its blossoms fall like slow rain, one by one, into the canal. You lie back on the grass, letting your fingers sink into the cool soil. Around you, insects hum and birds flit from branch to branch, continuing their unseen, essential duties. Do you ever get tired of it, you ask, eyes on the sky? Xochitl stretches her arms slowly overhead, of planting.
Of everything being so quiet.
She chuckles. There is noise here. It's just not the kind your world teaches you to hear. You listen harder, and indeed, there it is, the soft rustle of maize stalks, the squeak of reeds brushing in the wind, the bubbling of fish beneath the surface, a distant baby laughing, even the whisper of your own breath. You wonder quietly if After so much time in this ancient rhythm, you'll still hear these sounds when you return. If you return, will your old life seem louder or just more hollow? Xochitl passes you a piece of roasted squash wrapped in a banana leaf. "Eat," she says. Thinking too much makes even the birds nervous. You both laugh and you eat, and it tastes like everything here clean, warm, real. In the afternoon, children arrive on the chinampa, barefoot and curious. They dart between rows of plants, helping where they can and pretending to know more than they do. One small boy with a missing front tooth insists the marigolds grow faster if you sing to them off-key. Another girl presents you with a crown made of braided vines and giggles as she places it squarely on your head.
"You're the Garden King now," she announces, proud.
You bow regally. "Long may I compost."
They dissolve into laughter.
Later, you teach them how to press herbs gently between two woven mats to flatten them for drying. Their fingers fumble. Their bundles are lopsided. It doesn't matter. Xochitl watches from the side, arms crossed, smiling faintly.
"They trust you now," she says.
You look at your sticky, uneven pupils and grin. Good. I may need bodyguards when I challenge your title as healer.
"Oh no," she replies with a mock sigh. "Not another festival."
As the sun begins to lower, the children's parents call them home. They leave in canoes that wobble slightly under their squirming excitement, waving goodbye with stained fingers and tangled braids. You return to your mat, the scent of soil still on your skin, and watch the sky soften into its familiar tapestry of peach and indigo. The canal glows with it. You know the stars will come soon, and with them, perhaps, your quiet companion. Sure enough, the water near the reeds stirs. The axolotl floats lazily to the surface. "Busy day," you say. "I'm the Garden King now."
It doesn't blink, doesn't flinch, just stares, unmoved.
You sigh dramatically. Tough crowd. You lie back on the mat. The vines the girl wove are still tangled in your hair. The earth beneath you is warm from the day. You can feel your heartbeat sinking again to the slow rhythm of this place, just as it has every day since you arrived. And you begin to wonder whether you are still a visitor at all. You wake on your final morning in the Chinampas with no sense of finality. The sky is its usual soft hue, pale lavender bleeding gently into gold, and the earth smells just as rich, just as ancient. The canal breathes quietly beside your mat. If today is your last here, it hasn't told the birds. They chirp and call and rustle through the trees just the same, unconcerned with your comings or goings. You sit up slowly, noticing the vine crown has slipped off during the night and now rests beside your head like a quiet gift. You smile and tuck a bit of it behind your ear. Why not? Xochitl greets you as she always does, barefoot and already dusted with pollen. She offers no special words, no farewells, only a cup of warm atoll and a quiet look that says, "You've done well." Today's work is soft and slow. You harvest gently, no rush, and the plants seem to welcome your hands. Now your fingers know which stem to touch, which leaf to let be. You wash roots by the water's edge, their shape so familiar now that you can recognize them by weight alone. Xochitl joins you near the jacaranda. "These," she says, lifting a small bundle of herbs, "are for you." You blink. "To take with me?" She shakes her head. "To bury." You follow her to the far edge of the garden, where a small patch of soil has been cleared, circled by stones. It's a quiet place, shaded by cypress, where offerings are sometimes made objects too precious to keep, or too full of meaning to discard. She kneels beside the patch and begins digging a small hollow with her hands. No tools, just fingers and care. She gestures for you to do the same. Together, you place the bundle into the hollow, a mix of Xochitl, mint, a piece of dried vanilla bean, and a single pressed calendula blossom. The scent rises, faintly familiar now, almost home-like. Xochitl covers it gently with soil. "This is how we remember here," she says softly. "We bury the things that helped us grow and let them become part of the land." You sit there for a while, not needing to speak. Your thoughts wander back to your arrival on the garden's edge, the trembling in your legs, the strange tools, the unknown plants. You remember the awkwardness, the first jokes with Xochitl, the splash of the axolotl, the quiet fire-lit stories.
You remember the children's laughter, the reed wristlet, the flower arrangements that said things you couldn't yet say aloud.
And now
the soil accepts your hands like it's known them forever.
the Shinampa hums around you alive with life. Yet still, you find yourself breathing slower, longer, deeper.
"Come," Xochitl says eventually, rising. "One last paddle."
You step into the canoe with her. The canals feel different now, not foreign, not even familiar. They feel part of you. Each bend in the water holds a memory. Each breeze carries a lesson. The paddle dips into the water, smooth and sure. As you glide, you pass faces you've come to know, the old woman who grows the finest maize, the boy who always sings to the lilies, the vendor from the market who insisted cacao solves everything. They nod to you, smile, as if they already know you're leaving, but don't feel the need to say goodbye. You reach a quiet bend in the water, a spot surrounded by lilies and low trees. Xochitl pulls the paddle into the canoe and lets it drift. The boat rocks gently. She looks at you, not quite meeting your eyes. When I first met you, you looked like someone trying to remember how to breathe. You smile, not denying it. And now, You inhale through your nose. The air is sweet, earthy, still laced with faint flower scent. Now, you say softly, "I think I remember." She nods once, satisfied. The canoe drifts in silence. A bird calls in the trees. Somewhere downstream, a child's laughter rings out, thin and clear.
Finally, Xochitl takes the paddle again. As she rows back toward your chinampa, the axolotl surfaces beside the canoe. Just once. Just enough.
You don't say anything this time. Later, at dusk, you return to your mat. The garden stretches out around you, the light turning golden and then slowly blue. You lie down with your hands behind your head, the crown of vines beside you again, as if it refused to be left behind. You wonder if this was all a dream, but then you feel the earth beneath you, smell the herbs on your skin, hear the distant splash and the breeze in the reeds, and you know dreams don't feel like this. Sleep comes easily, as it always does here. The stars emerge one by one, ancient and kind.
And you curl gently in a world older than your memory. Feel the soft weight of time settle into your bones, not heavy, but warm.
You are not the same as when you arrived.
You were not meant to be.
The chinampa breathes beneath you, quiet, steady, ancient. You lie on your woven mat, body relaxed into the warm hush of evening, your breath slow and deep, in rhythm now with the still water, the rustling reeds, the distant lullaby of night insects beginning their song. The stars above shimmer softly, reflected perfectly in the canal that laps gently at the edge of your garden, like a quiet echo of the sky. The air smells of damp earth and crushed mint and sun-warmed wood. The scent is comforting, familiar. You feel it settle into your chest, anchoring you, grounding you. Somewhere not far, someone is still awake, humming a slow tune to the rhythm of a paddle pushing through water. The sound fades, returning the night to silence. But it is not an empty silence. It is full of everything that came before. You let your limbs go heavy. Your hands rest open by your sides, still tinged with the faint scent of herbs. You can feel the last warmth of the day seeping from the soil beneath your mat, cradling your back. You allow it to hold you.
The sky deepens to ink.
A breeze moves softly through the garden, brushing over your face like a blessing. Your chest rises and falls, and each breath seems slower than the last, until time itself loosens its grip.
No rush. No noise.
Just this.
You are safe here.
Forgotten by the clock.
Held in the hush of plants, water, sky. And as sleep finally folds over you like a second blanket, The chinampa drifts gently beneath the stars, carrying you with it rooted, still, timeless.